I think I'm going to move to Dallas. My dad told me, he said, people walking the streets in Dallas and just catching on fire so hot out there. I said, the people catching on fire? He said, yeah. He said, you ain't seen the news? They just walking down the street. It's so hot out there. They just catching on fire.
Tell us about your journey to Texas. How did we get from Florida to Texas?
My cousin Alexander graduated from Tuskegee Institute. And so we always have a family reunion in August. So when he came home in August, he said, okay, y'all, I'm graduating. I'm going to either LA or I'm going to Dallas. I have 2 job offers. And so I told him, I said, well, I tell you what, if you go to Dallas, I'll move with you. He was like, no, you serious? Yeah. I said, but I'm not moving to LA now. I can't do LA. And so December, when he came home, he said, okay, I took the job in Dallas. I said, are you serious? Because I was living in Tampa, Florida then. That's where I went to college. And then, so I was living in Tampa. And he said, are you coming? I said, myself, I'm really joking, but I guess, I will go. And so February 8th, 1982, I packed up everything I had. And it was so amazing because I wasn't going to move. Now, y'all don't hold me nothing, but I want y'all to know I'm human, okay?
Right.
So we had just got out of college and everything. And it was so funny. People were selling hot clothes. We was buying hot clothes. We was...
I know what you mean.
We weren't always saying, but we were still Baptist kids. We loved the Lord and we knew the Lord. But they could get some nice clothes.
Right.
You know that January, and my grandmother had this nice white comforter she had given me. They actually came back and took everything they had sold us. It just stole everything, broke in my house.
Wow.
So that's why it ain't good to buy hot stuff. But, and you guys, I was in my 20s then. I was young. I have grown.
Right.
So we actually did that. And when they stole all my clothes and broke in my house, that was just, for me, okay, Diane, it's time for you to get out of town.
Right.
And so I went home and I told my dad, I said, because Tampa was only 4 hours. And so we weren't really that far from each other. So we could still love on each other and see each other and everything. So when I went home and I told my dad, I said, now, Dad, I think I'm going to move to Dallas. My dad told me, he said, people walking the streets in Dallas and just catching on fire so hot out there. I said, the people catching on fire? He said, yeah. He said, you ain't seen the news? They just walking down the street. It's so hot out there. They just catching on fire. I said, well, Dad, it's February. I don't think I'm going to catch on fire. So he was just like, he thought of every reason. And really, he didn't want me nor to take my 7-year-old son. Because my son is named after my dad as well. And so he didn't want me to, take his grandson.
Right.
Even though he wasn't ready. I got pregnant my first year in college. So he wasn't ready for that either. And parents, again, even though I disappointed my dad in the sense of going off to college and getting pregnant, but the thing about it was he let me know how disappointed he was in me.
Okay.
And that's the thing that hurt me the most, was not so much I was pregnant, but I saw the hurt because he had so much planned for Diane and so much he would have done for Diane, until when I saw the hurt after I had to tell him, which my sister really told him, she didn't give me a chance. I was scared to death to tell him. So old motor mouth went on and told him. And so they didn't have the cliche then snitches get stitches, but she would have got some. But again, my grandmother saved the day. But parents, if I say anything, even though he had to accept it, he had at least let me know how bad I hurt him and how disappointed he was in me.
But that hurt motivated you, didn't it?
It did, because my attitude was, I've disappointed you. It's a little bump in the road, right, and it's going to be with us for a while.
Right.
However, whatever I need to do, and I think that I spent the rest of my life trying to make sure I never saw that look in my dad's face again, because the look in his face when he saw Diane was always possibilities. Okay. That's my baby. She going to be this. But the look when I had to share with him, yeah, I'm pregnant. Now, he did eventually get over it, but now it took him a minute to get over, because I told you the man is a Baptist preacher.
Right.
And so then the man called me a Jezebel. I said, oh, well, Lord. It wasn't funny then. I said, ain't no Jezebel. I know who my baby dad is. I am not a Jezebel. And so my grandmother was like, I done had enough. You ain't gonna call her nothing. I'm like, that man did not call me a Jezebel.
So your grandma put an end to all of that.
And so the next thing I know, he done called my baby's daddy. The poor man talking about, Diane, let's get married. I'm like, crazy, I can get a babysitter. I can't get no husband, so I am not getting married. Now, I made this mistake, and I'm wrong for it. But yeah, I'm not getting married. And daddy said, well, why you not getting married? Because I didn't even plan this. I'm not trying to make another mistake on top of another mistake. And so I cried, and he was like, well, you need to I am not getting married. Then the man told me, well, you ain't gonna be able to sing in the choir no more. Myself, I can't sing nowhere. So
he did you a favor putting you out the choir.
I said, Dad, Mr. Obadiah got 3 daughters in that choir. You know, I'm always going to argue my argument now. A president has already been set. He has 3 kids in that choir, and all 3 of them, they had babies. And ain't neither one of them married. That man told me, do I look like Mr. Obadiah?
And what year was this?
This was 75.
Okay.
He said, do I look like Mr. Obadiah? Well, then you letting them sing in the choir. I don't know why I can't sing. But we got past that. And so here's what I did. I said, now, if I go and name this boy Damaris Doc Gibson, I got you.
Okay.
True enough, my son's name is Damaris Doc Gibson. He been put out of my hand ever since. He was just happy. And then he got over, and when I told him I was getting ready to come, my son was 7 when I broke the news that I am going to Dallas.
Right.
He kept telling me all these reasons why you can't come to Dallas. And really what he was saying is, that's going to be too far. You know, I don't like flying, and I really don't want you to take the baby. No. So I said, okay. Then I decided I was going to be, because I'm 27 now. And I stood up, and my daddy was sitting at that desk like you're sitting there. I stood up and put my hand on that desk. I said, you do know I'm grown. See how you did? See how your face went? That's just how he did. I said to myself, girl, can I take that back? Can I take it back? He didn't say another word.
Right.
Nothing. Face just went blank.
Right.
I told her, girl, you done messed up so bad, it ain't even funny. And at 27, I had never paid bills. Didn't even know how to pay a bill, child. Had never had a real job.
So, oh, wow. So you get to Texas.
Ooh, I get to Dallas,
and reality
Texas.
Kicks in.
Yes. Because I'm thinking, oh, he going to still send me money. I gave my sister my car. Because you're going to buy me another car. As soon as I get there, you're going to buy me another car. You're going to do all of this. Baby, please. All my daddy did was accept those collect calls. And every time I would say something about money, well, baby, I got to go. And he did keep my son, though. So I did let my son stay there. And so every time he wouldn't say no, he would just say, okay, baby, I got to go. Somebody at the door. I said, this man still won't answer me about this money. And so then I finally get a job. So I said, Dad, I got a job. Okay, well, baby, that's good. I got to go. I need a car to get to work, because I was staying in Oak Cliff, and my job was out on 635 in Midway. Okay. So I didn't know nothing about riding no bus. So we didn't have public bus. Right. There in Tampa, they did. But I never rode a bus because I've always had a car. And so I said, okay, well, let me just do it this way. Daddy, I need a car. That man told me, you wrong. Grown people buy their own cars.